It's like every single video that I started out thinking that looks fine, and then I start making changes after I hit start recording. Some pretty major changes are coming to my YouTube channel, my videos, my live streams, my branding on the whole, and our Discord server, and it starts today. A lot of it will kind of kick into full effect as we go into the new year with January 2022, but a lot of it starts with some announcements today, and I want to get your all's, I guess, input as to what's going on, but also just let you know what's going on so that we can all be in this together, because this is kind of going to be a partnership as we grow this channel and the things I'm doing on it. And I want to make sure we're on the same page so nothing seems confusing, I guess, because it's going to be big, but in a kind of subtle back-end way rather than like, oh, I'm rebadging everything and renaming everything and it's all going to look different. Not quite that. So the big piece of news that I want to open with, just so we have it out and on the table that I'm talking about here today, is the fact that my Discord server got invited to a beta for paid subscriptions on Discord, and I could not be more excited. And before you start leaving your angry comments or clicking off the video, this is actually a good thing and may not mean what you sound like. The server is still free to access. It's still free for everyone, and that is 100% my priority. My goal is accessibility of my content. That will never change. This is simply an alternative to services like Patreon or Twitch subscriptions or YouTube channel memberships, Ko-fi, DonorBox, OnlyFans, FanHouse, any of those subscription services. This is effectively an alternative to that, where you can instead subscribe on my Discord server, and it is a recurring, subscription where you get access to videos, behind the scenes content, secret chats, consultations with me, things like that. So I am pretty stoked that we're launching this, and we're going to talk about it more a little later in the video. This is effectively going to serve as a big channel update. I don't actually do these very often, so we can update where things are headed for 2022 after 1 year working here in my own decent studio in my garage here, as well as kind of like a pitch for if you don't subscribe to me on any of those platforms yet, why you may want to. And we're going to talk about the Discord changes as well. As a little bit of a backstory or history for why this discussion kind of matters to me, I have always taken what I do here on YouTube super seriously, like to a fault, way too seriously. And we're talking not just my education, getting the details right, the technical knowledge, like all of that is important to take seriously. But even when I was just doing gaming videos, even when I was doing really crappy like Call of Duty commentaries and reaction videos and Pokemon trailer news and things like that, like I always prioritized it over everything else I was doing in my life at the time and took it super seriously. Now, I don't entirely regret any of that, because while I do kind of miss some of the things that I missed out on or didn't spend enough time with or doing or what have you, it got me to where I am. It allowed me to learn a ton along the way. It was super slow growth, especially because I was a main for many different content types and genres. But I learned a ton, and I wouldn't be here where I am right now without having gone through and learned any of that. So that is a win. But how serious I've taken my work here on YouTube and with my educational content in general has definitely paid off. I've done a lot. I've established myself as an authority. I'm the streaming professor. I'm an authority on streaming subjects. Capture cards, I'm pretty much the only one who does the kinds of capture cards reviews that I do, period, which is pretty cool. OBS topics, I'm basically the face of OBS when it comes to just general kind of streamer education there, encoder discussions, things like that. So it's gotten me places, but I think along the way, I've lost a lot of the fun, of the just casual enjoyment out of this. And I say that, and it's kind of weird because I still have fun doing what I do, but I do know at the end of the day when my video goes live, I watch it back and it doesn't have the same entertainment factor or same just like feel good fun factor that a lot of the channels I like watching do. And the details matter. The details absolutely matter, and there's a reason I obsess over them and try to get them as correct as possible and as detailed as possible. But you don't have to sacrifice the details to have a little fun, to let a little loose. And that's kind of the basis as I'm reflecting on where I've come from and what my original goals with my career in general were, especially now that G4 is back. As weird as it is to say, because to some of you that might seem like completely detached. G4 was a gaming / branched off of a tech TV network that aired on TV and then went away in about 2012. And that was my original targeted career path. I didn't have any connections or insider, whatever or anything, but it was my goal to go to college, figure out what degree I needed and go from there and then go work for G4. That was my aspiration. And then G4 went away when I was in college. So then I shifted. I was like, all right, I'm going to go work for Machinima because the Machinima Respawn offices seemed really cool. And I wanted to go work with those people. They also went away by the time I finished college. But as I'm reflecting on all that, now that G4 is back and I'm seeing the energy, and I even have friends that work there, which is pretty cool.
I want to give a special shout out to a good friend of mine who's in the chat right now, EposVox. If you haven't checked him out on YouTube, do it. If you are ever interested in streaming tutorials, masterclass guides, all that stuff, EposVox is 100% the guy to check out. So much love to you, brother.
I'm realizing that a lot of what I want from that, even if I have established my own career, even if that led me to doing what I do, a lot of what I wanted from that, I still don't get. And that's a little weird to realize. And it's got me thinking. So we're gonna make some changes. I have 5 major areas we're changing about my work, my business structure, how I present things, etc. that we're gonna cover here. And we need the notes for this one. So first and foremost, we're gonna have more fun. I'm gonna do my best to just have more fun in the videos. That means generally letting loose a bit. I wanna be the friendly, fun professor where you learn hands-on, not the lecturing, boring professor that gives you the nerdy details, but you don't have any, you can't pay attention in class. Sticking with the school metaphor here. It means playing more games, doing more activities with the stuff that I'm doing rather than treating it all like science, because there's some science to it, but it doesn't need to be science, if that makes any sense. It means working with more people, which we're actually gonna cover in section 3, so I will leave that alone for now, but more fun comes from just involving more people in the process, which is something I want to do more of. It means focusing more on what my actual interests are. If I look back at some of my most viewed videos on this channel, they were things I did kind of spur of the moment because I was interested in or having fun with. And with my ADHD brain, I am often hyper-focused on specific tasks at one time. Like right now, instead of reviewing capture cards or microphones, I am hyper-focused on getting my VHS mountain hooked up so I can finally finish my VHS archiving and do some fun glitch art and things like that, which I've put off all year. That's my focus right now. I want to make some content around that. And I look back at some of my most popular videos, and they're my deep dives into CRT monitors and televisions, my going away to the PlayStation 3 when it ended production, my random, my random dive into the PUBG mobile emulator for PC, videos like that, where it was just kind of like, hey, I'm having fun with this. It's still tech related. Let's talk about it, even if it's not entirely streaming related. And I want to do more of that, especially if it means letting me kind of explore my interests and have a little fun myself, because a lot of my fun talk is you, the viewer, having more fun. That is my priority, is I want my content to be more fun for you to experience, but that is inherent to the process of me having more fun doing the thing and talking about the thing. That's key. It means finding out what I enjoy covering the most and doing more of that. Having more fun also means a huge shift in how I handle viewer interaction for the most part. I have a huge problem when it comes to YouTube comments, letting the trolls or bad comments bring me down, even if like a personal insult from a comment doesn't really get to me, but the idea that someone has misunderstood the entire point of my video or is going with complete misinformation contradictory to my video, the research I've done, the testing I've done, the experts that I've involved. I love it when someone tells me I'm wrong about how OBS works while I've tested it across a gamut of computers and literally consulted the developers to make sure my videos are correct. Those kinds of things bring it down, sour the mood when you see the comments, and it sours my approach to certain videos when I bring it up, when I have to make new content on the same subject and I'm not in the right headspace for it. I want to do less punching down, more punching up, establish myself as an authority, but an authority that can be such without having to be too serious, to stick up your butt about everything. And that is a big shift that will require a lot of work on my part that you won't really see, but hopefully by the time we're rolling into 2020, it'll just kind of feel more natural. A lot of this having fun and sharing information and all of that also means just staying more accessible. We are actually working on a complete revamp of the Discord server, discord.gg/EposVox, by the way, where we're gonna rework how the rooms work, where the categories are. I am super proud of our Discord server. We got partner last year. We've built up an incredible server full of awesome people that help me with stuff, help you with tech stuff, talk about nerdy topics, gaming, music, movies, all sorts of stuff, but also provide tech help. And I really like where it goes, but every time I get like a friend or another creator that pops in, the first message I often get is that it's too intimidating, or there's too much going on, or it doesn't, the message I'm receiving at least, or interpreting, is that it's not accessible, even though we try very hard to make it so. So we are working on that. We're gonna set up like React roles for you to access only the channels you want, if you want, things like that, on top of the subscriptions that are coming as well. The second way we're changing things is another way that I want to have more fun with my content, but also make it more, like, I guess, more accessible in terms of actually understanding what I'm talking about, is getting more hands-on. I want to have a lot more content that is doing things with the product I'm talking about rather than just reviewing the product in a vacuum. And I try to implement this in certain videos, and often it just comes down to time and planning, but I want to make it a huge priority to have more content where I am just demoing the thing in a way that you can kind of experience it too, or get a feel for what you're supposed to do with it, rather than just listening to numbers and specs and those kinds of tests. Like, I still want that information there and documented, and a big move I want to make in 2022 is making sure I have the resources or people to keep the Stream Guides website up to date, so all of that documentation is there, even if it gets left out of a video or isn't the focus of a video. But I want more hands-on. I want more experiments, more tests, more challenges, more. I have a few videos inspired by Small Ant with regards to capture cards and OBS that are going to be like live streamed challenges that will turn into fun videos, and I want to see where things go from there. Stuff like that. I also want to get more impressions from other users when it's possible. It's tough when I'm reviewing things that are, you know, early access. I have embargoed product, and I often can't even find out if other creators have it, nevertheless get it in the hands of regular streamers. But when that is the opportunity, because I review a lot that isn't brand new and immediately out, I want to involve other users and have their voice heard with their unique take on how they've been using the device or tool, the software, whatever, and having their hands directly on it. I think a huge pitfall of content on YouTube when it comes to product reviews and things like that is so many people get swayed and form these deeply rooted opinions or stances, or oftentimes misinformation that they go then try to influence other people with about products that they've never used themselves. I want to change that. I want it to be opinions that are influenced not by just numerical reviews, but by seeing it done in front of you. And along with getting more hands-on, I want to get more product in the hands of you, the viewer. If you've missed it, and in which case you haven't been following me on Twitter or in our Discord server, I have been giving away streaming gear pretty much every week from the end of October, and I'm running till the end of the year. I'm calling it Streamsmas. Just join our Discord server. I announce it every time I launch a new giveaway. We partnered with companies like Earthworks, who's giving out a ton of their Earthworks USB microphones, which is insane. They're also believing in trying to get better gear in the hands of creators. I am giving away all sorts of microphones, capture cards, hardware, trying to get more products in the hands of you all so you can then contribute back and share your experiences with it. A lot of the times there will be things that I don't catch in my review, either because I'm not streaming for 3 months, a few hours a week or whatever with it, that you all catch, and then I can make more informed discussions about or help influence what people buy based on better information. And that is crucial. And I want more of that. I want an army of, you know, capture card and streaming testers, not just me in my dungeon. Area number 3 that we are improving things is collaboration. Now, I have to be honest, I have said this a few times and I still don't have a solid plan for how I'm gonna make it happen, but it is one of my highest possible priorities right now, and I am looking into ways, and I already have a few solid ideas of how I'm at least getting the basis of this rolling. I want to collaborate more. This goes all the way back to to having more fun. I am my most funny self, my most personable self, and having the most fun myself when I am bouncing off of someone else. My presentation when I'm alone is something. It's all right. I've built it up over the years, but my presentation and the information that I can convey when I have someone else priming me, when I have someone else I'm bouncing off of, when they're bringing up their own questions or bringing in their own perspectives, the content is just so much better. And I want to bring that to this channel, which has been me working by myself for a decade. It's time to change that. So we're gonna be doing more collaborations. I wanna do skits. I wanna do more skits at the starts of videos, and I wanna involve more people in that and expose you to more faces in that context where it's more fun and having fun. I want to bring in outside perspectives when it comes to products. I wanna find more use cases. I wanna talk to more people who aren't doing gaming streams, but people who are using the tools. Like there are a ton of people who use like the Stream Deck or certain capture cards or trying to use the Go XLR or something in more professional environments, or in like your church broadcasts, or people who stream things that just are really out there. I want those perspectives in my content. And so if you think you do something like that on a high kind of professional level, please reach out to me. Let's make cool stuff. That's ultimately what I want to do, and I want to involve other people to do it. I also want to have more guests on my live shows. I want to have, you know, we're going to talk about this more in a minute, but I'm building up new live show things. I want to have more people involved on that. I don't want it to just be hours of me streaming where you just see and hear my face, because as I talk about in my own stream critiques, it's not very interesting after a while. I'm also trying to bring on more team members within some capacity. I don't have the budget or the workspace or so many things against actually like hiring people that I come work for me and sit here and edit and whatever. But I have been experimenting over the past couple months, you know, really bringing people on to help with the channel. Shout outs to Emma, who is one of my editors. They've been editing some of my Pokemon stuff, which I think I'm dropping that channel and just doing it live, because unless I get someone actually managing the channel itself, I'm just the bottleneck for actually getting the videos uploaded and scheduled. And it's no point if all the videos are 6 months late to me running it. But she's been editing a ton of stuff on the Pokemon channel, and now the Stream Guides channel, editing up our streamer news highlights, things like that, has been a huge help. I'm pretty sure I still owe you money, but huge shout outs to you. Thank you. We'll get that sorted. And I want more people like that are somewhat knowledgeable in my field, but capable of delivering and helping build content, helping me syndicate. Part of accessibility is having content in a lot of places. So editing things down for Twitter, because I can upload up to 10-minute videos on Twitter now, which is wild. Twitter, TikTok, etc., having my content distributed more there. I can't be the only person working on that to actually get any of that done. I only get so much done in a day, so having more people involved on that is huge. And of course, the big one, which actually leads into our sponsor for this video, my Behind the Streams podcast that I've started up. I'm still getting it sorted out in terms of the actual podcast feed, but I've been building it up, and I have interviewed Mr. Greggles and Katiosaurus. And both of those videos, or interviews, podcasts, whatever, were huge. The Nebula extended cuts were like an hour long each. There was a ton of good information there, a ton of great conversations. And the fact that my first 2 episodes, I feel, even if they weren't the most popular videos, because I'm struggling to brand them, so I'm gonna start cutting them out to clips themselves and such, they were some truly banger content if you're interested in the insights of being a content creator, the workflows involved, things like that, and the show's only gonna get better from there. But to improve the interactivity and the video quality of those streams, we're actually involving today's sponsor, Riverside. This video is brought to you by Riverside.fm, my new favorite podcast and video recording platform, and what I will be using for future episodes of my Behind the Streams podcast. Riverside.fm is used by Gary Vee, Guy Raz, Spotify, Disney, and many more creators. It records audio and video locally on each participant's device and uploads these local files automatically to the Riverside dashboard. And ooh man, the recordings look like they came straight out of camera, which is bonkers and a huge step up from what I was previously using. No more coordinating recording with your guests or anything like that, as it's all really done for them. You can receive separate audio in uncompressed 48 kilohertz wave and video up to 4K tracks for all participants. And by all, I mean all. Up to 8 co-hosts or guests are allowed, which is wild. Riverside uses progressive uploading so that it uploads while the show goes on, so you can download your files within seconds of hitting stop record. With the Magic Editor, you can save hours of editing work with a few clicks. Change your size, positioning, backgrounds, layouts, add a logo, and more. Plus, you can export the video ready to upload to video sites and download a transcription in seconds as well. Guests can even join from iPad and iPhone too. Did I forget to mention the cool part? Riverside.fm is also a streaming tool, meaning that while you're recording, you can also live stream to most major platforms, which is pretty neat. But streaming does not get in the way of recording. It is a recording-first platform with quality as its focus, which I can really appreciate. Plans start from just $7.50 per month. Go to riverside.fm/EposVox and use code EposVox to get $15 off a plan today. Method number 4 that I'm improving my content, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, is I am just going to give less farts in general. I know. That means when it comes to comments, I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to leave me post-it notes to remind me. I'm going to have my wife get on me about it, maybe have the community keep me in check a little bit. I'm just not if you're going to show up and be an asshole, I'm just not going to respond. I'm just going to delete your comment, ban you from the channel if you're too bad. maybe give a plain text, just like emotionless response if you're spreading misinformation. And if you insist on spreading misinformation beyond that, just ban you from the channel and just move on. No more letting that drag me down, you down, anyone down. I'm done. But that also means giving less farts about the means at which I get the view. There is something that has been in the back of my mind the entire time I've really, I guess, been professionally on YouTube. This wasn't the case in my early days, but once I decided I was a professional content creator, I avoided chasing trends. I avoided certain means of like what I call Zoomer clickbait titles. I refuse to use titles that are misleading, period. But I have learned a lot over the past couple months about what is effectively called clickbait, but not the bad kind. Of what it actually ends up boiling down to is breaking down your video into the simplest idea that represents what you're learning about. And this is actually, I think, best communicated in a video by Veritasium, where he's actually dived in on some of the videos he's improved the performance of with these methods. And it comes down to basic things like if you don't know if you're not familiar with the subject of the video, giving a boring plain text title that has that subject in it, you're not going to click on it because you don't know why you should care about it, nevertheless want to learn about it. So if I come up with a more simplified, more vague, but also like enticing reason you should care about the subject rather than just telling you the subject, you're going to be enticed to click, then you're going to learn something, and then your life is going to be improved by that. And there's no reason to feel guilty or feel bad for that. And the few people who are like, oh, why are you using the clickbait these days, can go to hell. That also means repeating my successful videos or recycling content from time to time. YouTube videos are pretty much like the only medium in the world where it's considered taboo to republish your content more than once. Books are basically printed into oblivion. Video games are re-released all the time, and frankly, we wish they were re-released more rather than just remastering them. Movies are aired on TV and in box offices and brought back and released on Blu-ray. Plays are played out as much as they can get paid for them. YouTube videos are the only one where people kind of look down on republishing content. And it's so terrible because it means you're limiting who can see your videos. And I have finally gotten over this because I have a big stick up my butt when it comes to making redundant content. If I've made something once, why would I make it again has always been my thing. So whenever people are like, can you make an update on this guide? And I'm like, nothing has changed. All I'm really doing is turning those people away because they want either a modern approach, they just want to see the newer version on the software little header like with OBS or whatever, and I'm turning them away effectively by saying no, when it would be mostly free views to just do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the truth is, no matter how many times I talk about things in my content, like Backing Track, our music service, the fact that I have a Discord, the fact that I stream anywhere, there's always going to be either new viewers who didn't catch that or viewers who just didn't catch it along the way. And the more times I can kind of hit and try to reach those people, the more people I'm helping and the better my business will be in the first place. No reason I should hold myself back for that. And then lastly, I'm gonna do more live stuff. I had a lot of trouble. I used to stream a ton more. I was a full-time affiliate streamer back in 2017 for a little bit, but that was, right when the affiliate program came out. But that was something I never want to return to. But I do want to do a lot more live content. And I've really struggled as I had a kid back in 2020 and adapting the workspaces, the life changes and things like that. I had struggled quite a bit with integrating live into my workflow because I'm basically always on call, running back and forth between the house, helping with things, whatever. I didn't want to disrupt my life. And so most of my streams have been at like midnight or 2 a.m. And that's not necessarily accessible either, but I have some new live shows planned. I'm not going to release details right now, but I am currently in the process of doing a complete overhaul of how my entire studio works so that I can do a more effective live show where everything's like, it's a unified workflow and I'm gonna be able to do more and the gear is gonna get out of my way and we're gonna do some really awesome stuff. And so I'm probably gonna be combining some more shows, bringing back shows and doing some really cool live stuff. And that's going to also turn into videos, but also just be a really damn cool broadcast. So with all that in mind, this on top of updating you, this was also a sales pitch. Here is my pitch for you to support me on some of the platforms where you could financially support me. If any of this sounds appealing, the goal that I deliver to you, or that I am aiming to deliver to you, is the best damn, and hopefully most entertaining coming soon, tech education applied to streamers and content creators with interest in analog and other things on YouTube and Twitch. That is my goal. And if you want to support that kind of content and educating people and helping people master their tech, not just for streaming, but in general, but especially on streaming. I do have other goals where I want to branch out. Like, it's turning out with actual like research and data that the younger generations are not being taught the same computer skills and tech skills that my generation was, because everyone just assumes the new generations just were like born with that information, and that's becoming a real problem. I want to find ways to reach and address that and teach those people as well. But like, if you want to support this being a thing and support this content and help it be the best it can be, there are 5 ways you can do so. This video is all about the number 5 for some reason. First and foremost is the big new announcement that I talked about at the beginning of the video. My Discord now has paid subscription tiers. We're gonna launch with 2 tiers. I actually just recorded this saying 3, I'm changing my mind. We're launching with 2. We're gonna fill this out, change it as we go. I've not done this with Discord, obviously, and I've never really pushed my Patreon much, and I've never really leveraged multiple tiers with Patreon much, mostly because I can't keep up with a lot of it. But if you've supported me on any of the platforms, you know that I basically bring everyone into Discord already. Whether you're a Twitch sub, a YouTube channel member, you're on Patreon, Ko-fi, Floatplane when I was pushing that. I take all of you and I put you in Discord and manage you there, because that's the easiest way to juggle all of these platforms. So having this natively integrated into Discord not only removes roadblocks for people who are there and just like, yo, I want to support you, but makes my life so much easier for actually delivering that value to you. The lowest price first tier is just the basic sub squad entry. $2.99 a month gets you access to a secret chat where you can chat with each other, share industry secrets, help each other with your streaming and your tech support and things like that, and get early access to videos, behind the scenes content, you know, updates for me as to where things are going, help give feedback on my thumbnails and titles when I need it, things like that, and we'll continue to evolve it from there. The second tier is the Teacher's Pet tier. This is effectively kind of like a mastermind group, if you've ever heard of those. I don't really like the super businessy stuff, but it's that kind of thing. It is $25.99 tier, so it's not for the faint of heart or the faint of wallets, but it's going to be a place for other content creators, streamers, YouTubers, TikTokers, whatever, to gather here with me to have a bouncing board, because that's something that I benefit from myself, and I have seen time and time again other creators benefit from it when working with me and other creators and building up friend groups. And so we're building up this group of other content creators who are like-minded, who are aiming to do this on some sort of professional level, to where we can be sounding boards for each other, help give feedback on either your gear, your content, your struggles as a creator, and really kind of build those stronger relationships and help you be the best creator you can be. And plus, it gets you kind of more of a direct line access to me if you're wanting like consultations on those sorts of things and things like that. If Discord isn't your speed, but you still want to financially contribute in some way, we do have other ways available. I didn't want to exclude those just because we're announcing the big Discord thing. The Discord thing is brand new. We're still trying it out. We're going to evolve it and build it over time. So if you have more ways you think we can add value or deliver value to you, please speak up. We want to hear that. It's kind of hard to kind of just come out of the break, especially, or, you know, out of the blue with full ideas, especially when so many of you are just here to support me for the sake of it in my existing Patreon circle, which I appreciate, but then makes it a bit of a struggle to kind of build from there. But if Discord's not your speed, I do have a Patreon. It's mostly just 1 tier. You get dumped in the sub chat, you're good to go. We also have Nebula, which is my own video site I've created with my other creator friends. It's detached from YouTube, not, you know, beholden to YouTube's algorithms or anything like that. And through Nebula, I also have my merch. We got desk mats, pins, stickers. We're gonna have a wave 2 coming probably Q1, Q2 probably of next year with new, you know, retro themes and things like that. So you can buy my merch, get a free trial to Nebula, sign up from there if you want to support me there and have an alternative way to watch my videos without ads and extended sometimes, blah, blah, blah. You know the spiel. That's not for this video. And then, of course, lastly, we have Backing Track. Backing Track is I just threw my paper down. Backing Track is the music service that mostly my community manager, but, you know, we as a community have built to kind of help streamers deal with the music licensing issues and things like that, because we felt that while there are a lot of great royalty-free music sites out there, and I'm subscribed to some of them, they were severely lacking in a couple departments when it comes to metal and rock music, especially that my community manager and I really like from like the 80s and 90s. And so we're seeking to fill that specific gap. We're gonna branch out into some other things like punk and synthwave and stuff like that, or not really synthwave, but synth rock and things like that in future albums. But we just dropped a few great albums. We got Versus 2, which is like an arcadey, Tekken-y kind of album. We got Forerunner, which is Halo-inspired and perfect to play along with Halo Infinite. We've got A Very Metal Christmas, which is great if you're streaming for the holidays. And we will continue to have more music. So you can stream it for free, backingtrack.gg, on any streaming service, and that's just fine. You got your downloads in the Discord if you like. But using that and spreading the word about that helps immensely. Now, I get asked a lot, what is the best way to support me? Which gets the highest percentage to me or whatever? And honestly, the details are so either muddied, especially with like Patreon with different fee tiers and things like that, or just not worth focusing on for me, that I don't really have an answer for that. I don't really care. If you're doing something, you're doing something. Like, if you're truly worried about the money going to the person, don't support on a platform like Twitch, because they take 50% of your sub fees. So you're not really giving money to me, you're giving money to Twitch. Instead, use Discord or Patreon. Those are significantly higher. But if you're most, which I don't expect anyone to be, but if you're like most obsessed with getting the maximum dollars to the creator, direct contributions, either on stream tips, like through Stream Elements for my streams, or on PayPal, are the way to go. I don't really expect that. I'd rather deliver value in, as kind of a transaction where I'm delivering value through our special secret groups or whatever. But again, do give feedback on that if you want. So that's the pitch. That's where things are going in 2022. Here's your update. I hope you enjoyed. I am really starting to sweat, even though I just showered, so that's not good. I've been recording this for a while. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more tag education and stream guides. I'm EposVox, the stream professor. I'll see you next time. See you over on the Discord. Discord.gg/EposVox. Remember, be kind, rewind. I have like 5 outros here. I really need to work on that too.